lovely morning. The sun is shining, the trees are green, like they always are. I don't know why I pointed that out. And my dog is here, and I'm just, what a nice day to be in nature. And wait, what is that noise? What, who is that? Hey! No, hey you! No, listen to me! No! Yapping on my favorite books for like 2 hours? You do? Yes! What's up, guys? Today I have another fantastic video for everybody. It's where I yap about my favorite books for a very long extended period of time. Yeah! Well, as you can tell, I really like the musical to this book, which, yes, it is a book, if you didn't know. But it's actually one of my favorite books, because I'm gonna tell you, basically, I'm just gonna explain the story, and then I'm gonna do like a little character analysis, and then I'm gonna show you my design. Since they're book characters, they don't really have set designs. Set designs, because it takes place in an opera house where they have sets. It wasn't that funny. Anyways, yeah, so I guess I'll tell you the book now. Maybe. So the book starts out with the guy who wrote it. I can't pronounce his name. It's like Gaston something. I'm sorry. I can't. It's French, am I right? Anyway, so it starts out with him being like, oh, he's like acts like this detective, basically. Like, that's how the book is written, from like the standpoint where like it's like written like a detective would, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't. Just read it. Okay, but anyways, so like I lost my train of thought. Hold on. As I was trying to say, so it starts out with the author being like a detective, being like, so this guy actually existed in flesh and blood, but he wasn't a ghost. He was real, because I found a skeleton down there and stuff, and yeah. But that's just the prologue. The real book, well, it's part of the real book, but like the book more or less like actually like starts like this. In the first chapter, it establishes that the old managers of the opera house are leaving, so that they throw a gala to, I guess, I don't know, celebrate their time there, which I have no idea how long that was. I don't actually care to go back. Meanwhile, it focuses on Sorelli, who is a principal dancer in her dressing room, who ends up being interrupted by all of the little ballet girls running into her dressing room from the hallway, saying that they saw the ghost. This is not like an uncommon occurrence at this opera house, because it's apparently haunted, and it's kind of the name of the book. So as you can figure, a lot of people claim to have seen the ghost, which is when they keep talking and it leads into them talking about the chief set change person. I don't know if that's really what he is. His name is Joseph Bouquet, and he always talks about how he saw the ghost too. And then that also leads into little Meg Giry, who's one of the ballet girls, whose mother, we learn that her mother owns a box seat, but watches over the box seat that is box 5, which is actually the box seat that belongs to the ghost. After that, little, like, Jamez, I think is her name, her mother comes in and is like, oh, Bouquet, yeah, he's dead, bro. He's dead. In chapter 2, this is when we get introduced finally to Christine in like a little way that is like, okay, Christine sings at the gala of, I guess she sings something from Romeo and Juliet, and she also sings as Marguerite and Faust, because Carlotta, who was originally supposed to play Marguerite, got ill magically, and so Christine got to sing it because she was understand. This is also where we first see this guy. He's like Count Philippe. I'm not going to try to say his last name. I genuinely do not care enough to try to pronounce that. But yeah, he's like dating Sorelli, but I also don't care. I just have to mention him because he's the older brother of Raoul, who I also really do not like, but he's like the main character in the story for some reason, so I have to talk about it. Anyway, so the performance Christine gives is like really great. She's like amazing, has this like angelic voice, and then she ends up like fainting. So then Raoul, after the performance, he goes to her dressing room And he like goes in and everybody like leaves except for like a doctor and a maid, and then she's also there, and he's like, Irma, I'm that little boy who rescued your scarf, and everybody laughs at him obviously because he's stupid. Christine then tells everyone to leave, like Raul, the maid, the doctor, they're all like, get out. And then stupid Raul was like, oh, she must be alone with me. So he's about to like go back into her dressing room when he hears a man's voice on the other side saying, Christine, you must love me. And then they have like this whole like conversation, which doesn't matter. So he's like listening behind the door, which is red flag, man, don't do that. So then he waits outside for her to leave, and what she does, so then she leaves and like, I don't know, just goes in the hall. So then Raul goes into her dressing room to look for the man. When he goes in, he turns on the lights and, you know, there's nobody in there. So he's like, show yourself, coward. So then he looks all around the room. He looks in the cupboards and, like, I guess her closet and her drawers for some reason. Like, bro, I literally, oh my gosh. Literally searches for a guy in, like, the dumbest places. Like, you really think a man is gonna fit in a drawer? You're dumb. You're an idiot, Raul. I'm sorry. In chapter 3, it goes back to the managers, and at the farewell party, they learn from a mysterious guest sitting at the edge of the table that's like all ghoul-like that Joseph Fouquet has died, and that upsets them. We are then introduced to the new managers who are very goofy and do not take the ghost seriously, despite warning from the old manager. In chapter 4, the managers get letters from the opera ghost who discusses his displeasure at his box getting sold. The managers think this is a joke from the old managers and laugh. They also, in the letter, it mentions that the ghost thinks that Christine should play Marguerite, but that's... just read the... Anyways, still thinking the ghost is just a joke from the old managers, they yet again sell box 5. The following, I guess, day, I think, we learned that the guests of box 5 caused a commotion, and after learning that they heard a disembodied voice, they talked to the keeper of box 5, Madame Giry. Madame Giry, a lovable old woman with only 3 teeth, actually, tells the managers about her experience with the opera ghost in the box. Madame Giry also thinks that the ghost is very respectful and actually, like, really likes him. He also happens to bring her, like, presents, like, he leaves her money sometimes, and also English sweets, which are very, very important for life. Madame Giry then shares a very humorous story, in my opinion, which I will not spoil, but I do recommend everybody to either read or listen to the book if you had trouble reading. The managers kind of just think Madame Giry is crazy, so they just decide to look into the box themselves. In chapter 5, the focus goes back to Raul, which I don't like because Raul, I just hate it. Raul gets a letter from Christine telling him that she did in fact remember Raul, and she asks him to meet him at the graveyard at, I think it's pronounced Peros? I'm just gonna say Peros because I don't know how to say it. And then dumb Raul meets Christine and tells her he loves her. Like, dude, you haven't seen her in 4 years! What do you mean you love her, man? Get out! Raul asks Christine why she laughed at him in her dressing room when I guess he confronted her. Christine doesn't answer, and then Raul gets all angry at her and accuses her of having a man in her dressing room. And then, and even if she did, that's none of your business, man! Like, you haven't seen her in 4 years! Oh my gosh, Christine is shocked as Raul tells her that he heard her voice while he was creeping on her outside her door. She asked him what he heard, and after he recites their whole conversation, Christine starts basically like crying, and then she runs away. He doesn't see Christine for a little bit after that, so the next time he sees Christine is, I guess, nearby the church again, like at Peros. Christine tells Raul that the voice he heard was that of the angel of music, which was a story Christine's father often told her and Raul about it. Yeah, after she tells him this, Raul straight up, like, makes fun of her, and it's like, I think you're crazy and someone's making a fool of you. And then obviously she goes off and cries again. Like, dude. And then Raul gets upset. Like, it is your fault. Why are you upset? This next part confused me a little. I think both Christine and Raoul are staying at like the same inn or something. And I think she's next to the room he's in. So it's like late at night, and Raoul sees her like leave her room. So he follows her by straight up jumping out the window. Like, why? Raoul then follows Christine to the churchyard at Paros, which is decorated with snow. Because, you know, it's winter. I just wanted to mention that because, I don't know. I just wanted to mention that it's cold because it's important. So he's pretty close behind her this whole time, which is very scary, honestly. I think he actually says he intentionally made his footsteps loud so she would notice him, which she doesn't. And which is really funny. And when Christine arrived there, the gate to the church is actually already open, which, you know, it doesn't surprise Christine at all. Christine then goes and prays at her father's grave, and then suddenly this beautiful music starts playing, and it like brings throughout the entire churchyard. It's like this music that's played on like a violin. Christine then leaves the churchyard, and Raoul just kind of waits there for a minute. Like I don't really know what he's waiting for, but he does see it. He sees a figure leap out from like behind the skeletons and then scale the roof. So he follows the figure into the church, and then he grabs its cloak, and then he gets jump scared by this figure face. And then he sort of like faints, and then he's just on like the doorsteps, and he almost like dies, which is really funny. I think he should have, honestly. Like, yeah. In chapter 6, the managers visit box 5, and then they're like, oh, there's nothing there. So then they go down to the stage, and then they just like wait there for like a really long time for some reason. And then while looking up at box 5 from the stage, they get jump scared by a figure, and they're like, oh no, there's actually nothing there, we were just going crazy. And then they for some reason decide to watch the opera Faust from box 5 the following performance. It's just like, why? The ghosts get like a hilariously threatening letter from did I say the ghost? Sorry, the managers get a very hilariously threatening letter from the ghost. And it says these 4 things. It says 1, they must give him his box back because, you know, they sold it. 2, Christine must play Marguerite in the performance of Faust. 3, Madame Giry must be reinstated because they fired her. 4, Madame Giry must confirm her reinstatement, basically, is what it said. The ghost otherwise said that he'll curse the opera if they don't do that, so, you know. In this chapter, the managers also learn that there's actually a stable at the opera house, like in the cellars, and that one of the horses has been stolen, which, I don't know, that's just like really funny to me. It's like why do they even have a stable? The book then shifts to focus on Carlotta, basically like the diva, or I guess just like the prima donna, if you will, who was replaced by Christine on the gala night. Carlotta received an ominous letter in red ink, like the ones managers got. I didn't clarify that. Saying that basically, if she appears at the performance that was going on at that night, she will suffer misfortune worse than death, which is great. Reminds me of that quote from Clue. It's like, what are you afraid of? A fate worse than death? No, just death. Isn't that enough? Carlotta, who is very superstitious, by the way, looks out her window and then literally sees like a hearse, I think it is, like the thing that carries like coffins, I think. She decides the whole thing is like a plot by Christine because she's really mad that Christine replaced her, even though Christine's literally like 19, 20 even, and she's like really nice. It's like she wouldn't do that, and it's like crazy. I think it's like later. I think it's after she like arrives at the opera house ? She decides to perform anyways, and then she receives another letter warning her not to perform, saying you will be ill. Don't perform. She does it anyway, and she organizes like a whole army of fans to stop Christine's plan by, I don't know, sitting in the audience. I don't really know what they're planning to do, actually. The managers are currently sitting in box 5 at this time, discussing when like the curse shall occur. They still find the whole thing very amusing. Both of the managers say that the ghost like usually shows up like halfway through the first act and most of his incidents, and you know that's what they're expecting. So then when Act 1 passes perfectly, which you know just makes them like even more like ha ha ha. Richard, one of the managers, points out Madame Jury's replacement in the audience. The goofy like stage manager comes into box 5 and then announces that Christine apparently has a plot against Carlotta. The managers are like really confused because they're like, what? They didn't even think she had friends, and they're like, oh, she has this whole plot. It's like, just read, man. I don't know how to explain it. So the second act goes well. The managers leave the box for a second. I don't actually know what they were doing, really. I don't know. I was just trying to write it down. And then they return to find, I think they leave twice actually, and they turn to find 2 items, but I just wrote down that they return and find a box of sweets on the shelf. This startles them as they remember Madame Jury mentioning the ghost leaving hers, the same kind of sweets, and they're like, oh man. Ugh. Goofy Raoul, he's like in his box. He begins crying, which is like really funny, because he got a letter from Christine saying, yeah, I can't see you anymore. Please leave me alone or I will get a restraining order. Well, she didn't say that, but I really wish she did because I hate Raoul. Carlotta then begins to sing like the Jewel song, which is this very pretty song in false that I actually really like. And then at the very end, you know, it's all going well. And then suddenly she croaks like a toad. She goes or something. I don't. The managers and like the whole opera house were straight up like horrified. And then she was like, oh, I'm just gonna start again. So she tried to sing and then she continued croaking to the end of the Jewel song. The managers, now aware of the ghost's presence, heard him like laugh quietly behind them, which is really funny. Like imagine, like this whole scene is actually like really chaotic, especially like the musical. And then at last, they heard him whisper into their ears. Yes, whisper, not, you know, announce to the whole entire opera house because that would interfere with a lot of things. He simply whispers into the ear, she is singing tonight to bring the chandelier down. The managers look up in horror to see the chandelier fall and straight up crash into the audience. Like the craziest part about this is not the chandelier falling, but this giant off chandelier. Like it's huge. It has glass all over it. It falls and it only kills one person, which is Madame Jury's replacement. Like literally how? Like it injured the other people, but she's the only one who died. Like that's not a ghost, man. I'm convinced he's a straight up wizard, and I think I can convince you more of that later. Like now for the rest of this, I'm going to like really briefly explain just because it'll take. I just don't. I'm gonna probably like skip over a few chapters just because I really want this to like not be super long so people will actually sit down and watch it, because as someone with ADHD myself, I know I can't focus on a video. If I see like a 3-hour on it, I'm just like, ooh. In chapter 8, Christine goes missing and Raoul basically goes asking some people if they've seen her, I guess. Chapter 9, Raoul meets Christine at this masked ball that she instructed him to go to through a letter that he found, or somebody found and gave to him. The whole time they are pursued by this they're just followed by this like guy. It's called the Red Death, through the whole party pretty much. So it's like, you know, you just read it. And then dumb Raoul insults Christine throughout this whole chapter as well. Like, even before he sees her, he literally calls her a wench, like an opera wench. Like, why? And then he never apologizes for it. In chapter 10, Raoul visits Christine's adopted mother and scolds Christine again until, her mother, Mama Valeria, so she called, takes her side and finally sends him away. Good riddance. Raoul also treats Christine like an object more than a person in this whole chapter, but I'll talk about that later. In all of chapter 11, Raoul and Christine pretend to be engaged. I really don't care about this because I don't approve their relationship at all. Like, it just seems so forced. It's like this whole chapter is supposed to probably be like this cute thing, but I can't because I genuinely hate Raoul so much that I just can't see how Christine would like him. Then we get to chapter 12, which is one of my favorite chapters because Christine shares her part of the story and how things have been going with her to Raoul. Why to Raoul? Because they're supposed to be in love for some reason, which doesn't make sense because Raoul sucks, and I hate him, and everyone should hate him, and he should have died. It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Christine first hears the angel singing and thinks the voice comes from like another room somewhere. She then realizes it's actually coming from her room, like her dressing room. So she thinks the voice is the angel of music because of how beautiful it is when it speaks to her. She asked if the voice is the angel because that's what she was thinking, to which he replies yes. Christine and the angel of music become great friends as she receives lessons from them every day. We also learn that a little later that the voice becomes very jealous after learning of Raoul and tells her that that they will send back to heaven if she loves any man on earth. Christine doesn't want the angel to like leave her because she's waited for this like her whole entire like life after her dad died, basically. In my opinion, I think that's what I got. So she avoids Raoul, which only makes the angel like more suspicious. Christine later then tells the angel that she's inviting Raoul to visit her father's grave with her. The angel then says that they will be there and play a song on like I can't pronounce the name, on the violin if she was worthy, like if she didn't lie, basically. Of course, a song is played, so yeah, she's good, I guess. After that, Christine kind of like recites how she discovered the truth about the angel. So upon the falling of the chandelier, like the night, Christine worries for Raoul and the voice, as if like the voice had like a human body and could be harmed. She saw that Raoul was safe, like because he was in his box crying like a loser, like a little baby. So then she runs to her dressing room to call upon the angel. For a while, she hears nothing of the angel, and then she falls into her knees and she starts crying because she's like, oh no, they died. And then she hears a violin just coming from her walls, which is really funny in my opinion, and just somebody singing. And then it's just like the music somehow it like kind of like commands her to like go to her mirror somehow, and then the next thing she knows, her mirror isn't there anymore, and she's just in a dark hallway, and like she's not in her dressing room anymore. Raoul then like interrupts the whole story, and he just literally starts like gaslighting her, and she's like, no, you're crazy, you were dreaming. Like, dude, she is sharing this information with you because and she wants you to know, and you're just like, you're crazy. Shut up! Get out! Oh my gosh, nobody wants to hear your stupid, dumb opinions on this matter. Nobody asked, man. No one asked. So when Christine enters like the dark hallway, the singing and the violin just stop playing. And it went like, after she stepped in the hall, which I already said, sorry, repeating myself. And then suddenly, like, a very, like, cold hand, like, grabs her wrists, which causes her to, like, startle and probably, like, scream just a little bit. And then an arm then, like, grabs her around the waist a little bit, I think, and, like, it supports her. And then she struggles to free herself. And then she can't, so then she decides, okay, I'm just gonna scream. So she tries to scream, but before she can, another hand is placed on her mouth, and it smells like death, and it causes her to faint. Christine awakens to the man disguised all in black, which abducted her, after she, this random odd guy just came up and snatched her, but, kind of scary. But she wakes up to him, like, bathing, like, her temples with water, which are the sides of your forehead, I'm pretty sure, so, yeah. A little after that, Christine is placed onto this, what she describes as this giant white thing, and then after hearing it neigh, she realizes it's Caesar, which is the horse that was stolen from the stables, and like the cellars of the opera house. She knows it's Caesar because she used to feed it like sugar and sweets, and I just find it really funny that it's a horse, bro. It's just like so for her design, I kind of just like, I don't know, first I drew like a picture of like her face up close and her hair just like in a bun, because it's another hairstyle I think she would wear. So I know in like most of the musical stuff she's like has brown hair, but in the book she's described as being blonde with like blue eyes. I would find it, but there's a I don't want to. She's also described as being like small and like frail, and also since she's like French, I decided to give her like this dress that's based off these dresses I see. Like, it's nothing too interesting, but I think she turned out cool, so yeah. And alright guys, that's all I got. So if you enjoyed, subscribe and look at my other content, and I don't know, just stick around. Sorry I like literally died in the process of making this. It took so long and I could not pay attention even though I liked the book. See you on the flip side.